Hi, today we're gonna propagate the Philodendron Hederaceum variegated. Now, I got this when it only have like 2 of this leaf. Firstly, when it came, the variegation is like really good, better than this. The whole leaf was variegated, and since it's get older and older, it's lost its color a bit, not a bit, a lot. You can see it still have its variegation, but it's really hard to spot. Don't know if the camera can spot it or not, but when it was new it was something like this, there it is. Yeah, so the new leaf will have a very prominent variegation. You will see the pattern very clearly, comparing to the old ones, the oldest one, or a group here. These guys are also old leaf. Okay, a very faded variegation pattern is because of the age of the plant. Now this is the case for a bunch of plants I know of, like some syngonium, like this salmon. You see the old leaf, like this guy over here, it's lost its variegation pattern, but the new one is fresh and new, like beautiful coloring. And that's another example is the Paraiso verde. Now in the case of the Paraiso, I had one outside where it got like all natural ambient light all the time. The old leaf, like this one, 3 of the oldest, this guy stays in here for its whole life since it's been cut and propagate. As you can see, it's becoming really green. It lost its whiteness, it lost its variegation pattern. While the Paraiso outside, where I got outside, trailing up the trees, or they don't lost the variegation as much as this guy. I guess Paraiso is very light dependent, so they want high hours of bright light. But in the case of syngonium, it doesn't matter how much hours of light it receives. If it gets old, the leaf will just lost its color. Now this is true for many syngoniums that are variegated or had like pink spots or white variegated, or even the yellow variegated, or somebody call it Oreo and albo variegated. Those lost its variegation pattern too. And what you can do is just chop them up to propagate. Now once it's go like this, once the variegation faded away, it's becoming green like this, there's no coming back except you cut and propagate. The new leaf that will come will when it's unfold, it'll be having like a nice variegation pattern, like these new this is the top part, the 3-4 leaf of the top part. Now for the top cutting, you don't want to cut just one internode over here. You want to cut just a few leaves to propagate because it will grow faster. But with the old leaf, old node like this, you just do 1 node or 2 nodes. That's up to you, but you don't need a lot of them. And propagate them one by one, or you can just put them, a bunch of them together, and just plug it in the pot. But in this case I'm gonna do it one by one because I choose this small 1.5 inch pot. Okay, now let's go on about the potting mix, the planting medium. I use perlite, pumice, cocoa husk and cocoa peat in the ratio of who knows. I mean, I just dumped them together in a big plastic tub and mixed it up. I don't have specific ratio. Just keep it airy and well drained. That is all. You can use peat moss if you have peat moss, but be sure to use small pot, no bigger than 2" for if you're gonna propagate just one node like this. So no bigger than 2". Otherwise, there's a high chance it'll rot. Well, that's in the case of if your climate is similar to mine. One other thing you can use is sphagnum moss. You could just dump it in the water, then squeeze out all the excess water, leave the moisture inside, and then just stick these little guy inside the moss. It'll grow. But remember, no matter what method you use, no matter if you're gonna use planting medium like mine, cocoa husk, or peat moss, or sphagnum moss, after you do your propagation, after you put them in the pot in your planting medium, just remember, put it under some I would say partly shaded area, and avoid heat. That's important. Avoid heat. It doesn't matter if you're gonna put it in a grow tent, condensation tent to acclimatize, or whatever it is called, or for me, I just gonna leave it under my table where it's a bit shaded and cool. But in this season, it's not very hot, so I'm not gonna worry too much about that. But it's very dry over here right now. It's very dry. Normally the humidity is probably about somewhere about 60 to 80%, and drop to about 40 to 50% on the midday. But right now it's about 30%, like the whole day except the night. So I gonna be mindful about the humidity. Keep them moist always. Spray some water after propagate. We're gonna start plucking in the old ones. This root is a bit too long. I'm just gonna clip it off. It's old. We don't want them. We want young new roots. Okay, now we're gonna stick it in. If you use sphagnum moss, use sphagnum moss. For me personally, normally when I use sphagnum moss to propagate, I put it in a small tray, like half the size of this tray. Just place it down and just lay the cutting, the nodes, just lay it down like this. Let the root stick itself in the sphagnum moss to draw all that moisture in. But in this case, I cannot just place it like that. It's not gonna stay. So I have a bit of space left here. I gonna stick it in a bit so it doesn't get loose and come off. And that would be it. I'm not gonna be putting anything on top of that. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention. These planting mediums that you see over here, I have watered them, so they are all soaking wet, but they're all drained out. They just at the moment they're wet, yes, but that's what they need at the moment. In just a couple of, maybe half an hour, it'll dry off and leaving just enough moisture for the cuttings, and that will be all.